What's up, John? All right, I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, here we
Yeah,
are.
I don't know what happened there, but I lost my connection on there. But
So,
yeah, so for anyone watching this, me and Gilbert were talking earlier, but I wanted to ask you about with the French kickboxers, and obviously they have kind of a similar history as the Dutch. Do you think it's going to have a big impact on the UFC now that they're able to fight there?
yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
Yeah,
It's all
that's
too.
okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, no problem, no problem.
Oh,
So, yeah, do you think that, having French fighters in the UFC now, you're going to be seeing a lot more guys like Gon come in there?
well, I hope so. It might be that he is like the only one who's good, but I don't know. I hear a lot about French fighters. I know they're good in the stand-up, of course. I don't know. I hope so because we got now a lot of. We had our Brazilian invasion for a long time. We have the people from the east. How you say the madam the Khabib's countrymen.
August.
Yeah, they are up right now, and I hope the French fighters will do their thing. So,
But what is your impression of him in his style, coming from your background?
well, yeah, he does what he has to do. And again, I didn't know if you heard me before. I'm still, yeah. How can I say? I still want to know if he uh, can withstand a brawl because he moves a lot. They're not able to hit him. Um, yeah, he's being a smart fighter, but I want to know what happens when he get a knockdown. When he fight somebody who will keep him on the ground. So on that way, I think he didn't got tested yet, but. Well, I'm not surprised if you become the UFC champion.
Yeah, I talked to Cyril Diabate, and he kind of said he wondered if he had like the power, in fighting a guy like Ngannou, for example. You know, does he have the power to maybe, keep Ngannou off of him, while he's trying to move around and whatnot.
Well, that is the same thing we talked about Derek Lewis. Derek was not able to get one punch in, and that is how you saw how somebody literally broke, because he was not able to hit Kane, and Kane might be able to do the same thing with Ngannou, because Ngannou is tough, but his cardio is not the best, and he might get the same thing that Derek Lewis had. We never know. Or we never know. We will know soon.
Now, it sounds like you're watching a lot of the latest events. Are you still keeping up with all of the UFC events and stuff like that?
Well, actually, just told you, I'm doing the podcast, the
Yeah.
Golden UFC podcast. So now I have to watch it. Um, yeah, I have to watch it. Otherwise, I'm sitting there and don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm doing this with Dennis. It's an awesome guy who's the host. I'm the co-host, and we're another person is Marcel. And those two guys know so much about the UFC. It's crazy. And the first couple shows I was a little embarrassed because I didn't know nothing, and that's why I'm watching a lot of the UFC. And now I get to know more and more about all the fighters and what's going on over there.
Now, what's the name of it specifically, you said?
In Dutch is de Gouden Kooi.
Ah,
Actually, they're watching us right now,
mhm.
and it's the Golden Cage. You know, like the cage from the UFC. So
Mhm.
yeah, it is. We're going live every Monday after the UFC. Actually, we just going live every Monday, and actually yesterday we did our first YouTube uh, show of the podcast. So yeah, it's awesome, amazing, and I learned a lot this last 2-3 months doing the show. Yeah,
So it's all in Dutch.
it's in
Yeah.
Dutch. Yeah, uh, I'm yeah. Well, you can see I'm struggling right now a little bit with my English, so
No, it's
maybe
good.
we can do the show. We might do a little bit in English if we get enough followers, but let's for now keep it in Dutch because it's already hard enough to I say to be aware of everything that's going on in the show.
Now, seeing some of these guys come back and fight at older ages, especially in boxing, is it something that you've thought about doing?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I've been boxing for the last. I might be the last year right now. Just only boxing with Mike from the Mike's gym, Big Mike, and actually I'm getting pretty good. That's crazy to say about that about myself, but I'm getting better. He teaches me very well, and there have been a lot of fight invitations lately. But because of the COVID and because I'm old, but I'm still too good for some shows. Uh, the show I'm not able to fight yet. So I was invited to fight this YouTube guy doing a boxing fight, but they didn't pick me. Before that, there was an for I think in KSW this
Oh,
box bare knuckle boxing with elbows. They asked me if I want to do that. I was ready for that, but yeah, I actually want to do this. Bare knuckle boxing just once because it's like a purest form of boxing. Yeah.
yeah. So I was going to ask you about that. You know, what do you think about the bare knuckle form of that? You know, kind
Well,
of style.
yeah, awesome. I think every man fighter should have done this just once in his life. Um, yeah, because you cannot run or cannot hide. This is fighting. You can just play. You cannot play this. You cannot just stick and move. You have to go in and beat somebody up. And the bad thing is, of also the beauty of this thing is that with one punch you can knock somebody out, but you can also break a hand, a wrist, or a finger. So yeah, that is the bad luck of the whole thing. But yeah, but I think this, yeah. I hope I would. Yeah, I think I hope I would get the chance to do that once. Still one more time.
Now I talked to Chris Lieb, and he said he felt like it was a big difference, like going from the MMA glove to the bare knuckle, like made him bigger than a boxing glove to an MMA glove. Because he said when he would throw punches in training, he'd miss, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
also,
yeah,
it's a challenge to train to figure out how you want to train for bare knuckle, you know.
yeah.
How would you approach it?
Well, I think of course, the punching is different because it's easy to break a hand. It is, the blocking is different. I think, of course, you have to box a lot with normal gloves, but also do a lot of back work with bare hand. First of all, to strengthen your wrist, your hands, and of course, get the timing of and the distance because of course, it is a little different. But I don't think it is a lot of different than with MMA gloves. I think it will be the same. course, I'm not sure, but you know, I fought a lot on the street and I never missed, so I will be okay.
Yeah. So you've been getting offers even though, because I was wondering about that. Like, I'm sure there's guys in other countries who were competing back then and they want to get involved in some of this stuff. But I thought it might be harder for someone like you because you're not in the US and that's kind of where it's happening right now, these odd boxing
Yeah,
matches stuff. You know what
no, no, nowadays, maybe nowadays because the COVID can be a little pain in the ass, but yeah, well, just I live like 5 minutes away from the airport, so I'm on a plane, and I'm 8 hours later. I'm in the States, so that will be okay. Um, the problem is that I'm old and I'm still good enough to make too difficult for everybody. So yeah, so what can we do? Is Gilbert's, you know, will we get the good Gilbert, or do we get a Gilbert who will not, an old one, or do we get Gilbert who knock our fighter out in like 2 minutes? So yeah, it's a little hustle. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like it'd be hard because, you know, Vitor, I don't know, like his reputation, he had been competing in the UFC not that long
Mhm.
ago, really. So maybe he was still fresh in some people's minds. And I was thinking maybe
Yeah,
guys, maybe they aren't in the US, one, and they're out of the country, maybe they haven't been in the UFC recently, they wouldn't get asked because people aren't thinking about them necessarily.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Peter is of course a big name in the UFC, and my UFC fights weren't that impressive. Let's be honest. So, but yeah. So yeah, if I am a promoter, of course I want to have a fighter who will draw a lot of public. But yeah, yeah. Let's keep it up there. Yeah, if I'm a promoter, yes, let's use Victor because he's an amazing fighter and he's a pretty famous guy. And besides that, Brazil is a bigger country than Holland, so I can think they get a lot of more views from there than from us.
Now, you did say you got an offer, or maybe you're being considered to fight
Hmm.
a YouTuber. Was that someone in Holland, YouTuber, or
No, 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 from Poland.
Poland? Ah.
Yeah, and
So they
they
have their own Jake Paul types in
yeah.
Poland and stuff.
Yeah, of course. I said yes. I don't want to do that. Come on, I will beat a YouTuber up. If I had a chance, I thought Jake Paul or what's his name. You know, get a couple millions in this in the project in the process. Yes, of course. Why not?
Yeah. I remember Logan Paul, they were talking about him fighting somebody that I thought would be interesting too, but I forgot off the top of my head who it would be. But yeah, I was really fascinated by all of these fights, you know, because it's just a different element than we're seeing in the UFC. UFC, you're seeing like two high caliber guys most of the time.
Yes, yeah.
There's
But
no unknown necessarily.
for no money, yeah, for a small money, and now you find this nobody, this YouTube guy, and you get paid couple millions. Uh, Everybody, I think a lot of people they don't like this Jake Paul and his brother, but I think they're amazing. They're smart. They're not even fighters. They get this YouTube channel and they challenging fighters, and they're doing pretty good with fighting them and getting a shitload of money off it. Yeah. Well, I cannot hate on them. I think it's amazing. I hope they they pick me to fight them. You know, I yeah. You know, I'm happy for them. I think that is they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I heard this is some of the issue with Ngannou and why the UFC hasn't been able to get him back in the cage is because he wants to go box because he thinks that he could have an opportunity to fight a Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Some of these guys are in the heavyweight for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if he signs another contract with the UFC, he's not going to get that opportunity.
Of course, UFC want to keep him for themselves, but I understand. I understand it because what will he make in the UFC? Let's say he gets an 800,000 to fight, and maybe pay-per-view another 1.2 million. He gets 2 million, and when he fights fight a boxing match, he might get 5 million or at least. Well,
Right.
easy money.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be able, if he's going to go back to the UFC or not. Like, he has one fight left. They want him to sign rather than take the one fight, and he wants to fight. Like, his
Well,
contract runs out, I believe it's January 2023, or he re-sign. So,
I think it's a smartest move for him is just stay with the UFC because I don't think he is cut out for this boxing thing. The thing is, if he does this easy money fight, he might get knocked out, get a lot of money, but then what? He cannot go back to the UFC. He might go to Bellator or something, but maybe he should be smart and wait a little more, stay UFC champion, althans beat first Kane, stay UFC champion for a while, and then maybe, get this Tyson Fury fight.
all right. So what else are you doing right now besides the podcast? Are you coaching people or what else?
I'm teaching. I'm just starting to teach in this new gym in Hilversum. It's down in Holland, called Burning Heart. I think a month now. I'm teaching there 6 classes. I'm doing the back training. I teach the MMA and kickboxing technique. I'm teaching in this other gym eastbound in Amsterdam. I'm doing the kids class and also MMA class. Besides that, I'm training a lot and doing a lot of personal training. Yeah.
So do you have any, are you hoping to get some of your own fighters into some of these shows in the future, or is that something you're already doing? Or
I have this guy from my gym fighting 16th of October, no, next month, 16th of October. I'm gonna coach him, but I'm not really planning to get my own fighter. And I think it's a lot of responsibility, and I'm not sure I'm able. Yeah, I'm not sure if I really want to do that. Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Alistair Overeem, because obviously you guys kind of came up in the same era. Maybe he was a little bit after you, actually. But
we trained. We have trained together for a while.
And, I think, as he was going on the UFC, he moved to the United States. It wasn't the same style of fighter, Before it was very Dutch, style, a lot of knees and stuff. As you saw him continue to fight, what was your impression of that? Because he became a lot different as a fighter, I would think.
Yeah, because the UFC style is different. You cannot just jump in what I did, just jump in and give knees and knock people out. They're too tough right now. They just grab your knee and take you to the ground. So, like I said, the UFC became more a fighting sport than real fighting. So I think Alistair started to train over there and start fighting the way people in the UFC fight. So being smarter and boringer, if it is the right word, being boring, just being boring. My girl is looking at me like, you don't know how to speak English. No,
maybe more boring is what. Maybe that's.
Yeah.
More
not
boring.
boring, not yeah, just boring because he's not really fighting anymore. He just try to win this round, trying to win the next round, and if I have a chance, I will knock this guy out. But let's play it safe first. That's what he does. He doesn't jump in with the knee anymore. He just yeah, like I said, UFC is not certainly not pride, and it becomes more and more a sport besides real fighting.
Yeah, because I saw him lose some stand-up fights in the UFC that I thought, a few years ago he was light years better than those guys. Like Rosenstruik and
Mhm.
maybe Volkov, who we talked about earlier. These were guys he would have destroyed a few years ago.
Yeah, but a few years
But
ago
his
he had a
style went away.
yeah, but a few years ago he had a different kind of fuel in his body. So yeah, yes. Well, and also a few years ago, maybe we didn't have this great heavyweights in the UFC that they have now, because they're all much bigger all now. Like Nagano is huge. The Volkov guy is huge. Kane is also big. Derek Lewis is big. Before that, who was the big heavyweight? Um, Stipper.
Yeah,
Stipper was not that big.
yeah.
Before that, have who was it? The Brazilian guy, right?
Oh, Dos
But
Santos
yeah, the Santos was also champion. The Mexican guy was champion there.
came.
What?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't that
They
big
weren't big. Yeah,
as they are now. So those guys right now can just put you down with one punch. Like Rosenstrike can do that. Derek Lewis can do that. Nugan can do that. Yeah. So I think, and Alice is getting older also. He's like 40 or maybe, yeah, he just became 40, I think. So yeah, all those other guys are, I think, a bit younger than him.
but now he's going to have another fight. I think a kickboxing fight or something.
Yes, he's fighting in Holland against Rico Verhoeven, 23 of October. Yeah, for the Glory heavyweight title, I think. Yeah.
But I just want to ask you kind of before we wrap this up, because I don't want to keep you forever. But when you're training in Holland and you're
Yes.
training in that environment, now you
Mm-hmm.
come to the U.S. You're not going to be as sharp in those techniques that really made you, great.
Check.
Like
Yeah,
Alistair.
yeah, you're right. And I think it is like I said before, I was staying in Vegas for 3 months, and I had to do a K1 fight 2 weeks after I came back from the States. So it was pretty difficult. Um, well, I think Alistair knew he was fighting Rico for a while now, but doing this kickboxing, getting very sharp, he might be ready for it, but yeah, I still think it's going to be a difficult task, because Rico might not be the best technical kickboxer we had, we have, but he is pretty much the fittest one. He's like the most in shape ever, so that's why that's why he can. He probably beat Alistair. I'm pretty much sure he's gonna beat Alistair, because this guy he's tough and in shape. Yeah.
Now, people that are watching this, if they want to follow you or kind of check out some stuff you're doing, where can they check out your? Just here at
Well,
Instagram or?
yeah, Instagram and on Facebook. This basically all. That's basically what I do, and of course they have to follow the Golden Cage, the Gouden Kooi, our podcast. Me on Instagram on Gilbert Yvel Official, and on Facebook just on Gilbert Yvel. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time, man. It was great talking to you, and yeah, maybe we can catch up some other time after a
Yeah.
fight or something. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate you for having me in your show. It's I had a good time.
All right. I appreciate it. Take care, Gilbert.
All right, take care. Bye bye.